Lee Owens, and I will be making a tribute flight to honor the early pioneers of black aviation. I will become the oldest African American to circumnavigate the globe in a replica of the red-tailed P51, made famous escorting bombers over Europe. It is meant to remind America's youth of the great achievement of these great African American aviators and to support aviation education. The mission of the Lee Owens Foundation is to educate aspiring minorities about the opportunities in aviation and to provide scholarship to those interested in the field of aviation.
My name is Emily Wood. I'm 22 years old. I started my ground school back in Oxford 9 months ago, and I've been flying out here in Phoenix for 2 months. Apart from the flying, I love the community we've got here. All the staff are really friendly. All the instructors are always there to help you out, and then you're with your course. Everyone's all helping you out, everyone's supporting each other, and it's just a really nice environment to train in. Lee Owens can be strict at times. Right from day one, he had us doing as much stuff as we possibly could. He's definitely not a talker, he's more of a doer. So he'd show us something practically and then we'd just go out there and do it. So on your first lesson, you're doing the radio and the takeoff and the landing, and it felt like a lot. But after a few lessons, I saw how it all came together and how good it was that we'd had practice working in such a fast-paced environment. I think it's a really great cause that he's raising awareness for the Tuskegee Airmen, and that people don't need to wait until they're older to find out about it. They'll know about it now. It's an industry that we all love. He's inspired us, and he's just trying to raise awareness to inspire more people around the globe. I think it's a really good thing for him to do.
My name is Oscar Bretes. I'm 22 years old. I've been flying for 8 years now, and I've been at the Oxford Aviation Academy for 9 months for my professional pilot training. Oxford Aviation Academy is the best airline pilot training academy in the world. The instructors here are very professional, especially for Lee Owens, which is my instructor. He gets the best out of us, makes us fly very precisely. He won't tolerate any deviations from the plan. When I came here to Phoenix for my first day of flying, I had a lot of flying experience. I thought that I was a good pilot, but Lee showed me otherwise, that I could maybe start the plane, but I couldn't actually fly it as precisely as it was required to fly professionally. I think that Lee Owens Foundation is a very good thing. It promotes the Tuskegee Airmen, which I didn't know about until recently. The history classes that are taught in school are very on the surface and not in depth, so it's also important for young people to learn about the Second World War and what happened, in smaller dimensions than just the general picture.
My name's Josh Bentham. I'm 22 years old, and I've been trained to be a pilot for 9 months with Oxford Aviation Academy. Oxford Aviation Academy is a prestigious airline training company for pilots. The way that they work, their ethos, and the way that they train pilots is renowned as one of the best in the world. My first day with Lee Owens was very hard. He pushes you to your limits. He really doesn't expect anything less than that. He likes to find out what your potential is very quickly, and he wants to make sure that you do nothing less than work towards that. It was a day of hard work, and I realised that if every day was going to be like this, then I knew it was going to be a tough journey, but somewhere where I was going to learn a lot from a man that had done a lot. I support Lee Owens Foundation. He's a remarkable man who's done a lot with having a very underprivileged background, and for people like me and others around me who have so much opportunity, to see someone like him do what he's done with so little resources is an inspiration to everyone. I support what he's doing for the Tuskegee Airmen, their history, and what he's doing to make sure that it doesn't get faded away and people in the future know exactly what they're about.
My name is James Mohavich. I've known Lee for 23 years, and he got me my start in aviation as a young boy of 14. He came to my school to give a lecture and increase the interest in the aviation program at the South Mountain High School in South Central Phoenix. And it was something that I had always wanted to do, sitting in the fields during the summer back in Indiana, watching the hawks soar, going, I've got to do this. This is gonna be so much fun. But I didn't know how. And then one day, just before graduation in my 8th grade year, Lee shows up to the school with a group of people, including Ron Dalton from the South Mountain program, to tell us all about the aviation program and what a career in aviation was about. Lee went more in depth than just what a career was. It's what the passion of flying is and what it means to truly love not only aviation, but where aviation came from. After I finished my training for becoming a flight instructor, I got employed at Glendale Aviation, where once again my path crossed with Mr. Lee Owens. And once again, he took me under his wing to show me the ropes of how to truly be an instructor that takes the students' needs and desires and really their different aspects of learning into consideration. As we got to know each other even better on a more personal basis, he introduced me to the different activities that he does with the Lee Owens Foundation. First was when he came to borrow my truck to pick up Gatorade for the youth in the community to help promote aviation. And I will never forget the day that he flew his little P51 Mustang into Glendale, and I was like, whoa, that's really cool. And then Lee gets out. It's like, whoa, dude, when did you get that? And he started talking about the trip around the world that he wants to do to help promote awareness of the history of African American aviation here in the United States and the hardships that they went through back before the civil rights movement really was in full swing. The African American community really wanted to serve the country in the military, and they literally had to fight tooth and nail to get there. And this is a legacy that is dying because history is just letting it fall to the side. And it's an important part of history that we need to keep alive, and that's what the Lee Owens Foundation is really trying to promote, and to keep history alive so that we don't fall back into the dark ages and start discriminating against people when we all have skills and mindsets that will help and make the world a much better place.
Hi, I'm Lee Owens, the son of a plantation worker from Mississippi, and I spent all my life in sports and then in the Air Force, 21 years, 5 months, 12 days. And in that interim, I learned to fly an airplane and found a love for aviation. And now aviation is the love of my life. And being an instructor here at CAE, Oxford Academy, gives me the greatest benefits, greatest return on my skills, to teach young minds to learn to fly and enjoy what I enjoy, being an airline pilot and being the best that we can be. This is a project of love, and it's not of self-gratification, but it is to mold minds and let people know, young people assuredly, that they can do great things if they strive for it and work for it and put everything they got into everything they do. I got started in aviation working on a plantation in Mississippi where my father worked, where I and my brother loaded airplanes for the man who owned the property where my father worked, and at a crop duster. And I was just so fascinated to see that airplane go down and swoop and land, and this little bitty man inside this airplane. But it's very ironic that I'm teaching students from England because he was English, and he was telling me stories about the Spitfire and what happened in World War II, and it fascinated me. But as a poor kid in Mississippi, we didn't get to know about flying or have the money to fly. But after joining the Air Force and starting out working as a mechanic on F-4s, I found that I could go to an aero club and they would teach me to fly, and that's how I got started in aviation. In 1941, Congress set up a program called the Tuskegee Experiment. They didn't even call it flight training. It was used to train young African American pilots to fight in World War II. These pilots, after graduating, became the Tuskegee Airmen. They started out as the 99th Pursuit Squadron, and they were sent to Europe. Finally, after Eleanor Roosevelt came to Moulton Field, Alabama, to see why these black pilots weren't sent to overseas to fight for their country. And with the help of Eleanor Roosevelt, was dispatched to Europe, where they flew more than 800 missions, more than 200 missions protecting bombers and never lose a bomber. That's a feat that will never be equal again in the United States Air Force. Not only did they do that, but they hold the highest academic pilot scores as a group than any pilot group in the United States Air Force. But these men were in a segregated world down in Alabama, learned to fly and learned to become great airmen, great humanitarians, and they fought the double V, the victory against segregation in the United States and the victory against fascism and of Hitler's fortress Europe, all in Germany. Yeah, this flight is flown in a single engine airplane with one pilot, no relief. We'll start off here in the United States, Phoenix, Arizona, fly to Moulton Field, Alabama. From Alabama, we'll fly to New York. From New York, we'll go to Newfoundland. We'll cross to Reykjavik, Iceland, Thule, Greenland, cross over to Europe, Great Britain first, and then we'll cross into Paris and Europe. From Europe, we'll fly to Sicily. Once we get to Sicily, we're going to do a dedication. We're going to drop 12 roses over the Anzio beachhead, where that will commemorate the first fight and battle of the Tuskegee Airmen, where they shot down 12 planes. From there, we fly to Berlin. From Berlin, we go to Moscow, all across Russia, come up the northeast coast of Russia, cross the Bering Sea to Nome, Alaska. From Nome, we go to Anchorage, Seattle, Long Beach, and hopefully back to Phoenix, Arizona. And we'll be the 7th circumnavigated the world. So that's flying a single engine airplane. The funding for this trip is paramount. I don't know what the price of history is, but if we had 5,000 people to give $50, the price of a dinner for two, this trip can be made. It can be safely and professionally done. We can do something and be a part of something that's unique, unparalleled in the histories, and all we ask of you is to give us a little funding to help this project, to get it off the ground, to make it happen. And it is up to you to help be a part of history, make sure that this trip is funded profitably, safely, and it will take in excess of $500,000. But that's nothing if all of us pitch together. If each one of us come forth and live this part of this dream, you will be flying the ocean with me. Every $50, every $100, every $10, every penny of that money will be used to either get this trip accomplished, set up scholarship for young people, help them to be better people, better pilots, better aviators, perpetuate the love of aviation that I have. If you just go onto the website, Owensfoundation.org, there's a donation position there. You can do it between tax deductible 501(c) program. You can mail it in. You can put it on your credit card. Whatever it takes to do it. But let's get this done. Be a part of history. Step forth and help. Make this vision your vision. Make this dream your dream. And be a part of history. And fly the Atlantic with all of us. Each and every one of us. But with the right funding, a safe and great crew, we can make this thing happen. Again, it's the Owensfoundation.org. All you have to do is go on the website, make a donation, hit the donation button, and it will happen. Thank you.